tell them what else Mr. Cates told you in the classroom.
Well, first he said the earth was too hot for any life. Then he cooled off and out in cells and things begun to live.
Cells?
Little boats like in the water. The little boats got to be bigger boats with sprouted legs and roll up on land.
How long did this take, according to Mr. Cates?
A couple million years, maybe longer. Then comes the fishes and the reptiles and the mammals. Man's a mammal.
Along with the dogs and the cattle in the field. Did he say that?
Yes, sir.
Now, how did man come out of this slimy mess of bugs and serpents, according to your professor?
Man was sort of evoluted from the old world monkeys.
Did you hear that, my friends? Old world monkeys! According to Mr. Cates, you and I aren't even descended from good American monkeys. Now, Howard, listen carefully. In all this talk of bugs and evolution, of slide and abuse, does Mr. Cates ever make any reference to God?
Not as I remember.
Or to the miracle he achieved in 7 days as described in the beautiful book of Genesis?
No, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Objection. I would ask that the court please remind the learned counsel that this is not a shut-up attempt. He is supposed to be submitting evidence to the jury.
Your Honor, I have no intention of making a speech. There is no need. I am sure everyone on the jury, everyone within the sound of this boy's voice is moved by this tragic confusion. The boy has been taught that he wriggled up like an animal from the filth and muck below. I say the Bible haters, these evolutionists, are brewers of poison, and the legislature of the state has made it very clear that the peddlers of poison, whether in bottles or in books, clearly label the products they attempt to sell. I say if this law is not upheld, this boy will become one of a generation short of his beliefs or the teachings of godless science. But if the full penalty of the law is meted out to Bertram Cates, then the faithful, the world over, who are watching us here and listening to our every word, will call this courtroom blessed. Your witness, sir.
Sure, Colonel Brady didn't make a speech. Now, Howard, I heard you say that the world used to be really hot.
That's what Mr. Cates said.
Figure it's any hotter then than it is right now.
Yes, it must have been. Mr. Cates read it in the book.
Do you know which book?
I guess that Mr. Darwin got the.
Now, Howard, do you figure there's anything wrong with that?
Well, I don't know.
Objection, Your Honor. The defense is asking a 13-year-old boy down an opinion on a question of morality.
No, Your Honor. I am just trying to establish that Howard, or Colonel Brady, or Charles Darwin, or anyone in this tent, or you, sir, has the right to think.
Colonel John, the right to think is not on trial here.
With all respect to the bench, I hold that the right to think is very much on trial here. It's fearfully in danger of the proceedings of this court.
A man is on trial.
A thinking man. He is threatened with fine and imprisonment because he chooses to speak what he thinks.
Colonel Drummond, will you rephrase the question?
Let's try it this way. How with all this fuss and feathers about evolution, do you think it hurt you?
Sure.
Did it do you any harm? Do you still feel reasonably fit? What Mr. Cates told you? Did it hurt your baseball game? Did it affect your pitching on it?
No, sir, I'm lefty.
Southpaw, huh? You still honor your mother and father?
Sure.
Now, you haven't murdered anybody since breakfast.
Objection!
Ask him if his holy faith in
rest assured that I shall most humbly ask for it. Now, Howard, you believe everything that Mr. Cates told you?
Not sure. Gotta think it over first.
Good for you. Now you pause. He's a farmer, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
Has he got a tractor?
Brand new one.
Now, do you figure that a tractor is sinful because it isn't mentioned in the Bible?
Don't know.
You know, Moses never made a telephone call. You figure that makes the telephone an instrument of the devil?
Never thought of it that way.
And neither did anybody else. Your Honor, the defense makes the same old error as all godless men. They confuse material things with the great spiritual realities of the revealed word. Why do you bewilder this child? Does right have no meaning to you, sir?
Realizing that it may prejudice the case of my client, I must tell you that right has absolutely no meaning to me whatsoever. Truth has meaning, as a direction. One of the peculiar facilities of our time is this maze of morality that we have put across all of human behavior until today. Every act of mankind is measured against some arbitrary latitude of degrees. Now, do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
No, sir.
Well, maybe you will someday. That's all, boy. Thanks.
Witness is excused. Howard, you go back to your car now. We won't need you anymore. Next witness.
Will Miss Rachel Brown please come forward?
Please state your name and occupation.
Rachel Brown, school teacher.
You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Please take your seat.
Miss Brown, you are a teacher in the Hillsborough Consolidated School?
Yes.
So you have had ample opportunity to know the defendant, Mr. Cates, professionally?
Yes.
Is Mr. Cates a member of the spiritual community to which you belong?
Objection. I don't understand all the chatter about spiritual community.
Objection overruled.
If he wants to know, if they go to the same church, let him ask that.
Objection overruled. You can ask the question, please.
I didn't answer it, did I? What was the question again?
You and Mr. Cates attend the same church.
Not anymore. Bert dropped out 2 summers ago.
Why?
That's what happened to little Stephanie's boy.
Could you tell us about that, please?
I was 11 years old. Got a cracked in the river and drowned. Well, Bert felt awful about it. Tony Simmons just lived right next door. And he used to go over to the boarding house and look through Bert's microscope. And Bert said he had a great mind, how he would become a scientist one day. At the funeral. Oh, preach. How Tommy didn't die to state of grace because his folks never baptized him.
Tell him what your father really said. That he was damned and he was going to burn in hell. Religion's supposed to comfort people, not frighten them to death.
We will have order, please.
Your Honor, I wish that the defendant's remarks be stricken for the record.
But how can we strike this young man's bigoted opinions from the memory of this community? Now, my dear, will you tell the jury some more of Mr. Cates' opinions on the subject of religion?
Objection. Hearsay testimony cannot be entered into evidence.
Court sees no objection. This line of question. Proceed, Judge Brady.
Will you merely state in your words some of the conversations you had with the defendant?
I don't remember exactly.
What you told me the other day, that presumably humorous remark Mr. Cates made about the Heavenly Father.
Bert said,
Go ahead, my dear. Go ahead.
can't.
May I remind you, Miss Brown, you testified on an oath it is unlawful to withhold pertinent information.
Bert was just saying some of the stuff he read. He didn't mean to leave it all. He just like...
Were you shocked when he told you these things? Describe to the jury your exact feelings, your innermost feelings. When Bertram Cates said to you, God did Did he compare it with the breeding of animals?
No, he didn't. That's not what he said. That's not what I told you. He didn't. All he said was that.
Are you ill, Miss Brown? Would you care for some water? Speak.
Under the circumstances, I believe the witness should be dismissed.
Oh, and will the defense have no chance to challenge some of the statements that the prosecution has put in the mouth of that witness?
Just let her go. She's ill. Just don't.
For the time being, witness is excused. Does the prosecution have any further witnesses?
Not at the present time, Your Honor.
We'll proceed with the case for the defense. Colonel Brown.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, I'd like to call Dr. Amos D. Keller. He's the head of the zoology department at the University of Chicago.
Objection.
On what ground?
I wish to inquire what possible relevance the testimony of a zoology professor can have in this trial.
Well, it has every relevance. My client is on trial for teaching evolution. Any testimony that goes to his alleged infringement of the law must be admitted.
Irrelevant, immaterial, inadmissible.
Your Honor, if Bertram Case were on trial for murder, would it be irrelevant to call expert testimony to examine the murder weapon? Would you rule out expert testimony that said that that alleged murder weapon was incapable of firing a bullet?
I feel that I just said the learned counsel's me.
Your Honor, the defense would like to call Dr. Cates to the witness stand so that he can explain to the jury exactly what the evolutionary theory is. How can they pass judgment on it if they don't know what it's all about?
I hold that the very law we are here to enforce excludes such testimony. The people of this state have made it very clear that they do not want this zoological hogwash swabbing around the schoolrooms. And I refuse to allow these agnostic scientists to employ this courtroom as a sounding board, as a platform from which they can shout their heresies into the headlines.
Colonel Brown, the court rules that zoology is not relevant to this case.
Agnostic sciences. All right, then. I call Dr. Alan Page, deacon of the Congregational Church, professor of archaeology and geology at Orland College.
Objection.
Objection sustained.
Your Honor, in one breath, does the court deny the existence of zoology, archaeology, and geology?
We do not deny the existence of these sciences, but they do not relate to this law. There's one law in this court.
Then I call Walter Aronson, anthropologist, author. He is one of the most brilliant minds in the world today. Objection, Colonel Brady.
Objection.
Your Honor, the defense has brought to Hillsborough, at great expense and inconvenience, 15 of the most noted minds in the world today, the great thinkers of our time. Their testimony is basic to the defense of my client. For I intend to show this court that the words that Bertram Cates uttered in Hillsborough High that afternoon were not a crime, but that they were as irreplaceable and incontrovertible as geometry in every enlightened community of minds.
In this community, Colonel Brown, and in this sovereign state, quite the opposite is the case. The language of the law is true and very clear. We do not need experts to come into this here and question the validity of a law that is already on the books.
In other words, you rule out any expert testimony that regards to Charles Darwin's origin of species or the sins of man.
Of course, so rules.
Would the court admit expert testimony of what is known as the Holy Bible?
Any objection, Colonel Brady?
counsel can advance the case of the defendant through the use of the Holy Scriptures, the prosecution will take no exception.
Good. Then I call one of the foremost authorities on the Bible and its teachings in the world today, Matthew Harrison Brady.
Yeah.
Your Honor, this is preposterous.
Well, this is unorthodox. I've never heard of a defense calling prosecuting this against it. But
Your Honor.
Brady?
This entire trial has been unorthodox. If the issues and the interests of right and justice will be served, I will take the stand.
But Colonel Brady.
Mr. Speaker, you better swear me in.
Yes. And I would like to say, Your Honor, that I shall not testify against anything. I shall speak out, as I have all of my life, on behalf of the living truth of the Holy Scriptures. Will you please state your name and occupation? Matthew Harrison Brady, lawyer and advocate.
You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Please take a seat.
Now, sir, am I correct in calling you as an expert on the Bible?
I believe it is not boastful to say that I have read the Bible as much as any layman, and I have tried to live according to its precepts.
Bully for you. Now, am I correct in saying that you could quote a chapter and verse straight through the King James Version, couldn't you?
There are many portions of the Holy Bible which I have committed to memory.
Well, I don't suppose there's very many passages of the origin of species that you memorize.
I am not the least interested in the pagan hypothesis of that book,
You have never read it.
and I never will.
Then how in tradition do you have the gall to whip up this holy war about something you don't know anything about? How can you be so cocksure that the body of scientific work that has been systematized in the writings of Charles Darwin are in any way irreconcilable with the spirit of the book of Genesis?
Would you state that question again, please?
All right. Right here on page 19.
I object to this, Your Honor. Colonel Brady has been called as an authority on the Bible. Now the gentleman from Chicago is using this as an excuse to read into the record scientific testimony which you have already ruled is irrelevant. He's going to examine Colonel Brady on the Bible, stick to the Bible, the Holy Bible, and the only Bible.
Come from you, and I'll confine your questions to the Bible.
I get the signal, man. We're playing your ballpark, brother. Now let me get this right. Let me get this straight. This is the book on which you are an expert.
That is correct.
And you believe that everything in this book should be taken literally.
Everything in the Bible should be accepted exactly as it is given.
Now, this part here that says that a whale swallowed Jonah. Do you believe that that actually happened?
Excuse me, the Bible does not say a whale. It says a big fish.
Matter of fact, it says a great fish. But that's not the same thing. What are your feelings about that?
I believe in a God who can make a whale and who can make a man and make both do what he pleases.
All right. Now, I recollect a story about a man named Joshua who made the sun stand still. Now you, as an expert on this book, you tell me that that story is just as true as that Jonah business, right? Well, that's a pretty good trick. Do you think Houdini could do it?
I do not scoff at or mock the miracles of the Lord, as do ye of little faith.
Well, have you ever pondered just what would naturally happen to the earth if the sun stood still?
You could testify to that if I get you on the stand.
Now they say the sun stood still. Now they must have had the notion that the sun moved around the earth. Do you think that's the way that things? Don't you believe that the earth moves around the sun?
I have faith in the Bible.
Well, you don't have much faith in the solar system.
The sun stopped
Good. Then, if what you say factually happened, if Joshua halted the sun in the sky, then the earth, it stopped spinning on its axis. And the continents, they toppled across each other, and the mountains, they flew off into space, and the earth, arrested in its orbit, shriveled in ashes, and crashed into the sun. How do you think they missed that little tidbit?
They missed it because it didn't happen.
Well, it must have happened according to natural law. Or don't you believe in natural law? Would you like to ban Copernicus from the classroom along with Darwin? We could wipe out all scientific development since Joshua. Revelations, period.
Natural law was born in the mind of the Heavenly Father. He can change it, cancel it, use it as he pleases. It constantly amazes me that you apostles of science, for all your supposed wisdom, fail to grasp this simple fact.
Listen to this. Genesis 4:16. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, and he dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife. Where the hell did she come from? Who? Mrs. Cain. Cain's wife. If in the beginning there was Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel, where did this other woman come from? Did you ever figure that out?
No, sir, I will leave the agnostics to hunt for her.
Never bothered.
Never bothered me.
Never tried to figure it out.
No.
Do you figure that somebody pulled off another creation over in the next county?
The Bible satisfies me. It is enough.
It frightens me to think of the state of learning in this county if everybody had your driving curiosity. Now, this book goes into a lot of begats. And a Breck said, begat Sala, and Sala begat Eber, and so on, and so on, and so on. Were they important people?
They're the generations of the holy men and women of the Bible.
And how did they go about getting themselves begat?
What do you mean?
I mean, did people in those days go about getting themselves begat pretty much the same way we get ourselves begat today?
The process is about the same. I don't think your scientists have improved in any.
And in other words, these people were conceived and brought forth by the natural biological process known as sex. What do you think about sex, Colonel Brady?
In what spirit is this question asked?
Well, I am not asking you how you think about sex as a husband, or as a father, or as a presidential candidate. You are up here as an expert on the Bible. What is the biblical evaluation of sex?
It is considered original sin.
You mean all these holy people got themselves begat through original sin? You think all that sin made them any less holy?
Your Honor, where is this leading us? What does this have to do with the state versus Bertram case?
Colonel Drummond, the court must be satisfied that this line of questioning has some bearing on this case.
You have taken away all my other witnesses. I must be allowed to examine the one witness I have left in my own manner.
Your Honor, I am willing to sit here and endure Mr. Drummond's sneering and his disrespect, for he is pleading the case of the prosecution by his contempt for all that is holy.
Oh, I object.
On what grounds? Is it possible that something is holy to be celebrated agnostic?
Yes! Individual human mind in the power of a child to master the multiplication table. There is more sanctity than in all of your holy holies and hosannas. An idea is a greater monument than a cathedral. And the progress of scientific development is more of a miracle than all the sticks turned into snakes and the parting of waters. But now, are we to pause in scientific development because Mr. Brady frightens us with a fable? Progress has never been a bargain. You have to pay for it. Sometimes I think there's a man behind the counter that says, yeah, you can have a telephone, but you lose the right to privacy, the charm, the distance. Matter. You can have the vote, but you lose the right to hide behind your petticoat or powder puff. Sir, you can conquer the skies. The birds will lose their wonder. The clouds, the smell of gasoline. Darwin has taken us to a hilltop on which we can look back on where we came. With this view, this insight, this knowledge, we must abandon faith in the pretty poetry of Genesis.
We must not abandon faith. Faith is the important thing.
Then why did God plague us with the ability to think? Mr. Brady, why do you constantly deny the one faculty that sets man above all the other animals on the earth, the ability of his brain to reason? I mean, what other merit do we have? The elephant is larger. The horse is stronger and swifter. The butterfly is beautiful. Mosquito more prolific. Why, even a simple sponge is more durable. Or does a sponge think?
I don't know. I'm a man, not a sponge.
Well, do you think a sponge thinks?
If the Lord wishes a sponge to think, he thinks.
Well, then can man be given the same privilege as a sponge?
Of course.
Well, then this man wishes the same privilege as a sponge. He wishes to think.
But your client is wrong. He is deluded. He has lost his way.
Mr. Brady, it is sad that we are not all blessed with your positive view of right and wrong. Do you know how old this rock is?
I am more interested in the rock of ages than I am in the age of rocks.
Dr. Page of Oberlin College tells me this rock is more than 10 million years old.
Well, Colonel Brady, you managed to sneak in some of that scientific testimony after all.
Mr. Brady, look. This is the fossil remains of a marine creature that lived in this county millions of years ago, when that whole mountain range back there was submerged in water.
Yes, I know the Bible gives me a fine account of the flood, but your professor is a little mixed up on his dates. That rock is no more than 6,000 years old.
How do you know?
A fine biblical scholar, Bishop Usher, has determined for us the exact date and hour of the creation. It occurred in the year 4004 BC.
That's Bishop Usher's opinion.
It's not an opinion. It's literal fact which the bishop arrived at through careful computation of the ages of the prophets, as set out in the Old Testament. In fact, he determined that the Lord began the creation on the 23rd of October in the year 4004 BC at 9 a.m.
Is that Eastern Standard Time? Or Rocky Mountain Time? It wasn't daylight savings time, was it? Because the Lord didn't make the sun until the fourth day.
That is correct.
Now that first day, was it a 24-hour day?
The Bible says it was a day.
But there wasn't any sun. How could you tell?
The Bible says it was a day.
A normal day? A usual day? A 24-hour day?
I do not know.
Well, what do you think?
I do not think about things that I do not think about.
Well, do you think about things you do think about? Now, 25 hours long. I mean, there was no sun, there was no light, there was no way to measure, there was no way to tell. Could it have been 25 hours?
It is possible.
Then, in other words, you interpret that first day, as recorded in the book of Genesis, was an indeterminate length.
I need to state that the day referred to is not necessarily a 24-hour day.
Right. It could have been 30 hours. Or it could have been a month. Or it could have been a year. Or it could have been 10 million years.
I protest! It's not only irrelevant and material, it is illegal! I demand to know the purpose of Mr. Drum's examination. What is he trying to do?
I'll tell you what he's trying to do. He wants to discourage everybody's belief in the Bible and in God.
I am just trying to stop you bigots and ignoramuses from dumping a bunch of nothing into the United States Constitution and controlling the education of the United States, and you know it.
How dare you attack the Bible?
The Bible.
I shall ask the bailiff to clear the court as his order restored here.
The Bible is a book. It's a good book, but it is only a book.
It is the revealed work of the Almighty. God spake to the man who wrote the Bible.
And how do you know that God didn't speak to Charles Darwin?
I know because God tells me to oppose the evil teachings of that man.
Oh, God speaks to you.
Yes.
And he tells you exactly what is right and what is wrong.
Yes.
And you act accordingly.
Yes.
And so you, Matthew Harrison Brady, through oratory or legislature, whatever, you pass along God's rules to the rest of the world. Gentlemen, ladies, meet the prophet from Nebraska.
Please, now.
Is that the way thing?
No.
God speaks to Brady.
No.
To be against Brady is to be against God.
No. Each man is a free agent.
Then why is Bertram Kate in the Hillsborough jail? What if Mr. Kate had the influence and the lung power to railroad through the state legislature law that only Darwin could be taught in schools?
Oh, that's ridiculous. There is one great truth in the world.
Yes. The gospel according to Brady. Brady. Almighty Brady.
And the Lord is my strength.
We should cast out and make a New Testament. What if other men, say a Bert Keats or a Charles Darwin, have the audacity to think that God might even just whisper to him that to have an unbrady thought could be holy? Must men go to prison because they are at odds with the self-appointed prophet?
My friend.
We will make a book of Brady. We'll put him right in between Numbers and Deuteronomy.
My friends, Your Honor, my followers, please. Ladies and gentlemen.
This witness is excused.
You are excused, Colonel Brady. You are excused, Colonel Brady.
All of you know what I stand for, what I believe. I believe in the truth of the book of Genesis.